Mambro, and welcome back to Our Ladies High School.
Thank you for having me. It's quite a strange experience because not only was I former pupil, but I taught here for many years as well, so it's quite interesting. I have been back a few times, but it's always a pleasure. Yeah,
Can you tell me a little bit about your initial impressions when you first came to Our Ladies as a first year?
that's a good question. I do have very vivid memories. So coming from the primary school, which was St. Ignatius in Wishaw, which was a small school, it was a small class, and then suddenly finding myself in this quadrangle at Our Ladies with a large number, a huge number of people. Um, all the staff in those days, every one of them except for the PE Tech and what was that one? PE Tech Art, all wore academic gowns. I'd never seen an academic gown in my life. Every one of them had academic gowns. Huge number of people in the quadrangle. Um, that's my initial impression. It was just a bit overwhelming, just as a 12-year-old boy, because coming from the top end of the primary school to the bottom end of the senior secondary was quite traumatic. Yeah, that's my initial impression.
Yeah. What were some of your favourite subjects at Our Ladies?
I always liked mathematics and sciences. I liked languages too, so probably maths and sciences would have been my favourite subjects at school. Yeah.
I agree. Are there any specific incidents or events that stick in your memory from your time here?
Probably quite a few. If I go back to the quadrangle thing, um, when I was teaching here, I don't know what it's like now. So we always had an assembly in the morning. So the students would gather, I guess, in that area there. So in there, ladies, we had a quadrangle, which was completely enclosed. And in that sat this lovely statue you've got out front, the Mary Queen of Seat of Wisdom. And so the morning assemblies was really strange. It's very hard to see it through the prism of somebody modern age, but in those days it was so different. And so our rector, I know you probably can't. This is our rector, an absolute scholar. He was a classics teacher by background, Oxford, Cambridge, and all the rest of it. He was the rector there. He asked me about an unusual event. So in the morning, Mr. Boyle would come out in the morning. The bell would go for Saturday day. He would come out onto the balcony, and this is going to sound really unbelievable, but any of my vintage will say, "Oh yeah, I remember that." He would come out. He would just look over all the students who were all assembled. Because they had a pin drop, and he would put his finger through the balcony. He would do this, and then he would walk away. He would never ever speak to us. I remember that vividly. So that was a very vivid event. But another event I remember, obviously these were the days when the belt was used, which means nothing to you. I assume historically you've heard of it. The belt was used all the time. And I remember getting the belt the first time. I remember it vividly, just in first year chemistry. I'll be very careful not to name names, but with a really good teacher, chemistry teacher. And he put up, it's funny how you remember things, they're burned into your memory. He put on the board mixing solutions. It was a title of an experiment we were doing, and he put on a couple of underlined it twice. And he was walking around the class when he came to my bench, and he said Di Mambro, because we were never called by our first name. It's hard to believe that. We were called by our second name, Di Mambro, never called by John, even up until about fifth year. He says, Di Mambro, you've underlined that once. Look at the board. So yeah, he belted me on the spot for underlining it once when he'd underlined it twice. I remember thinking as a 12-year-old boy, I thought, I was only 12, I thought, this is really unjust. It's so unfair. And that kind of started off the regime. So I remember those three events quite vividly. Yeah.
Yeah. Does the school seem very different from when
Absolutely. It's seismically different in so many ways, I think. Even having taught here as well. I mean, the regime at school was ultra strict. Our Ladies High at that time would have been in everything but name a private school. You had to sit an exam to get in. It was an all-boys school. It was relatively small in numbers. but it was a very disciplined school. You just, I guess it's just a product of the time. You just didn't step out of line. Uniform was strictly enforced. I mean, obviously you're splendidly dressed as well, but I guess some people are less, you know. So if you wear the uniform, you'd be pulled up immediately if your tie was undone or whatever, your hair was too long or whatever. So it was a very strict regime, not one that I wouldn't have swapped it for anything, but it was quite harsh because the teachers had what I would call a captive audience. These were students who came, they were selected first of all, and they were highly motivated. So the captive audience, but I felt a lot of teachers kind of abused that relationship. Um, so the school is very different now, a lot more kind of laissez-faire, I guess, a lot more relaxed. Very interesting to hear what you think. If you feel, and I suppose maybe you coloured your answers, but so it was quite a strict regime. The education we got there would be second to none. I mean, I wouldn't have swapped it for anything. All the Catholic doctors and lawyers and dentists and medics, they all came through. Almost all of them, anyway. Almost all of them came through. Our ladies had a formidable reputation for excellence. Um, yeah.
What was your favourite thing about your time at Our Ladies?
My favourite time, well, I had very good friends there, and that's probably my abiding memory. A lot of fun, a lot of good friends, a lot of fear as well, going into classes when you knew you were going to get whipped if you didn't know the answers and things. So yeah, but my memories are good, I have to say. I've got good memories, good with good teachers, because Our Ladies at that time was able to bring in teachers, but they were all highly qualified. They were nearly all honours graduates, except for maths and physics, because there weren't any of these people around at that time. They were all highly qualified, highly experienced teachers. That didn't always make them good teachers, but they had the cream of the academic teaching staff. So yeah.
Yeah. If someone asked you to sum up your time at Our Ladies High School, what would you tell them?
It's kind of mixed. I mean, I do have my memories are very good. I mean, I have, as I said earlier, we had an amazing, it was an amazing education, one that I wouldn't have swapped for anything, and it really fitted you up very well for going on. It was always assumed, um, it was just assumed that all the pupils who go to university, it was just like that. And if you weren't of a university caliber, you almost felt a bit second class. But yeah, uh, the expectations were very, very high, which is not a bad thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. I don't think if there's anything else I would like to add, but no.
Thank you for talking to me.
Oh no, it's been a pleasure. I've been glad away, for ages.